Good evening, everyone. Is my audio and video clear? Please let me know in the comment section. Good evening, Manish, Vivek, Atithi. Is my audio and video clear? Okay. Good evening, Aditya. Good evening, Ravi. All right. Chalo. Okay, Anushka. So, a very good evening to everyone watching this video. I am Manoj Sharma from Oliveboard, and I'm here with this RBI Bulletin key highlights from May 2025 report or May 2025 Bulletin. See, we've been doing the RBI Bulletin since January, and we've been covering this every month. So we've done January, we've done February, March, April. We were supposed to do May Bulletin a few days back, but this is just getting postponed. So today we'll be covering the highlights from May 2025 RBI Bulletin, and tomorrow we are going to cover from the June RBI Bulletin. Tomorrow we are going to cover June 2025 RBI Bulletin. Okay, so these Aditya is saying a little less sound. Okay, good evening, Bhakti. Chetan, good evening. Acha, less hai sound. Okay, wait, just a second. Let me check then. Okay. Is it better now? Aditya, is it better now? Aditya is saying it's good, it's fine. Aditya, just let me know if the sound is better now. Chalo. ठीक है, so let's begin with our session over here. I hope all of you are doing well, and I hope all of you are studying as well. We are going to cover the RBI Bulletin of May 2025. And before I begin, if you want to download this YouTube class PDF, you can do it from the Oliveboard app. Just go to the app, go to the courses section. Where there's going to be a separate YouTube class PDFs folder. You can download the PDF from here. Okay. Ritik is saying, please check the voice. Are others also, feeling the same? Is my audio not clear? Is my audio not clear? Because from here, from my side, it is absolutely fine. Bhakti is saying it's fine. Chalo, theek hai. So please check your. Anushka is also saying fine, clear. Aditi is also saying fine. Chalo, then please raise the volume from your phone. ठीक है? Chalo. So initially, this bulletin talks about economic growth, India's average GDP growth. So this is May 2025. So there are some, things which have happened after May. For example, the Monetary Policy Committee meeting happened in June. So there will be changes accordingly. Okay, so we are going to study the May report. So don't think कि अच्छा अब तो ये नया अभी हो गया है. So this is quite old because we have to cover from the report. So we are going to talk about the highlights from the report. कुछ नए updations, because updations keep coming, on a daily basis. We have updations on a daily basis. We have certain news on a daily basis. ठीक है? So keep that in mind. So India's average GDP growth from 21 to 2024-25 is 8.2%, which is highest among major economies. The average growth, this is 8.2, is the average growth, average economic growth, average GDP growth. ठीक है, so don't think कि अभी इस साल के लिए तो 6.5% हम बोल रहे थे, then why is I'm saying 8.2%? Because this is the average of these years. ठीक है? Significant step up from the average growth rate of 6.6%. So पिछले decade में 2010 से लेके 2019 तक there is the average growth was 6.6%, and in the next decade, and in the next, if you see the next few years from 21 to 25, next 5 years में average growth is 8.2%. Aditya is saying, ma'am, everyday data keeps coming. What information we have to keep with ourselves? You just have to keep updating yourselves. Okay, the most recent data is obviously going to be the most important. So you have to keep updating yourself. Some data, for example, if there is a report which has been released, and a one report or any index has been released, say HDR report has been released, and your HDI index, India ka HDI index has been released, so that is going to be static for the entire year until and unless we get another report in the next year. So ye wala you have to remember. This is called, you can say this is called something like static data and something which is currently changing. For example, the rupee against the dollar. You know, $1 is equal to how many rupees? This fluctuates. Stock market fluctuates. That you have to keep a track on. है ना? But some things like HDI index में what is India's rank, global hunger index में what is India's rank, that is going to remain same for the entire year. That you have to keep in mind. ठीक है? So इस तरह से you have to segregate what you have to actually remember, learn, and what you have to keep updating yourself. For example, policy rates है, वो policy rates keep changing, तो वो आपको you have to keep it, you have to keep a tap on that. अब policy rate में भी जो reverse repo rate है, that is mostly fixed at 3.35%, तो उसको तो आपको याद रखना है. Major changes you have to see in the repo rate and you have to see in the CRR. ठीक है, इस तरह से you have to revise the data. इस तरह से you have to segregate what data to remember, what not to remember. I hope this is clear, Aditya, and this is for everybody. So in 24, just a second. So in 24-25, India is expected to grow at 6.5%. This we've seen many times before as well. India jumped from 10th largest economy in 2014 to the 4th largest economy, and it is also poised to become the 3rd largest economy as well. This is mentioned in the report. And if we compare the countries on the basis of purchasing power parity, तो उसमें तो India is already the 3rd largest economy according to PPP terms. ठीक है? If we talk about policy continuity and stability, consistent pro-market economic reforms have been, done across the government. There have been FDI reforms. 90% FDI is now via the automatic route. 90% FDI, which is a very good thing. Automatic, see, whenever FDI comes in, there are two routes to it. One is your automatic route, and the other is your approval route. ठीक है, ऑटोमेटिक इज वेयर यू डू नॉट नीड एनी परमिशन फ्रॉम आरबीआई. अप्रूवल में यू नीड परमिशन. ठीक है, अप्रूवल में यू नीड परमिशन टू ब्रिंग इन द एफडीआई. एंड इफ यू सी हियर, देन जो 90% एफडीआई है, इट इज वाया द ऑटोमेटिक रूट नाउ. ठीक है, सो मेनी लिबरलाइजेशन मेजर्स हैव टेकन अप. If you see defense में 74% FDI is now under the automatic route. Insurance में the FDI was raised from 49 to 74 to 100% in this current union budget. Petroleum and natural gas, telecom में 100% FDI is allowed. So we basically improved our foreign investment. We have allowed more and more foreign investment in our country. If we talk about our financial stability, especially of the banking sector, then we've seen that the scheduled commercial banks, they have been sound. Their profitability is good. NPAs are less. There's adequate capital and liquidity buffers. Gross NPAs, if you talk about gross NPAs of the scheduled commercial banks, they have also declined to 2.42%, which is at a 12-year low, and this is a good thing. अगर NPAs किसी बैंक के कम हो रहे हैं, that shows a good and a positive outlook for the banking sector. Bank credit growth is also approximately 12%, which is above the 10-year average of 10.5%, which is also a good thing. ठीक है? Then if we talk about the capital markets, then over 106 million unique DMAT and 54 million unique mutual fund accounts have been opened. So you can see that more and more people are entering into the stock market. More and more DMAT accounts have been opened. 54 million unique mutual funds. That means more and more people are putting in their money for investment purposes. And see, this is very important because this money is finally channelized into productive things, infrastructure development and all. That is why this is a good thing. 500 plus companies, they have more than $1 billion as market cap, which is also a good thing. Stock market returns are also very good. 11% compound annual growth rate you can see in the last 20 years. If we talk about the external sector, then foreign exchange reserves as of April 2025 is $686.1 billion. It can cover 11 months of imports and 96% of the external debt. So you have to remember this, learn such kind of data. ठीक है, तो foreign reserves are good, forex reserves are good, and it covers 11 months of imports, 96% of external debt. The current account deficit is 1.3% of GDP. This from April to December 2024 ka data. 1.3% of GDP is the current account deficit right now, and the gross FDI is as of now 75.1 billion versus the 65.2 billion last year. So we can see that FDI has also increased. Foreign direct investment has increased in our country. ठीक है. Asha, if we talk about the price stability, then we have this flexible inflation target framework which was adopted in 2016. Quickly, who is going to tell me what is this flexible inflation target framework? Who is going to tell me what is this framework that we adopted in 2016? What is this FIT framework? Who is going to tell me? Quickly write in the comment section and tell me, then we'll move forward. So Aditya, when such kind of a data is changing, see, some data, like I told you, some data keeps on changing on a daily basis, and some data remains kind of static for the entire year. For example, the global hunger index में जो value है ना, HDI का index का जो value है, this you have to write in your notes and you have to revise it time and again and you have to learn it. जो बहुत frequently change होता है, before going for the examination, just take a look at the latest data. You don't need to remember the data right now. ठीक है, right now don't remember the data which keeps on changing just before the exam, but write down what you have to check. Some data keeps on changing, so you have to make a list of that kind of data, and before the examination just take a look at it, and जो भी latest होगा उस time पे remember it. ठीक है, and whenever you know, if you are remembering some data also which keeps changing, then remember the reference that you are taking up. Say you are talking about outward remittances as of March 2025. If you're writing such, if you're specifying as of March 2025, then the data does not have a problem. Then you can fix, that data only, and you can remember that data only. Is that fine, Aditya? I hope this is clear. I hope you understood this thing, how to remember data. If you want to remember a data which is 3-4 months back data, and you remember it, then you can cite it that as of March 2025, as of January 2025. ऐसे करके you can quote your data. Fine. Yes, Atiti, 4 plus minus 2 is your flexible inflation target. That means जो आपका inflation है, that has to be in the range of 2 to 6%. This is for a 5-year term. This has been decided for a 5-year term that you have to maintain the inflation between 2 to 6%. Ideal is 4% plus minus 2% रह सकता है. यहाँ पे इतना fluctuate कर सकता है. This is the ideal range. This is our target. Fine. If we talk about price stability here, then we have adopted this FIT framework in 2016. Policy rate cuts in 2025, you could a cumulative of 50 basis points. Inflation now better anchored. Monetary policy is accommodative. Now again, we have shifted this stance from accommodative to neutral. But this is not mentioned in this report because this report is of May 2025. ठीक है? So this is of May 25. That is why यहाँ पे stance has not been changed. So यहाँ पे you have to keep these things also in mind. Whenever you're reading a document, you have to also remember what current changes are happening. ठीक है? अच्छा, according to this, fiscal deficit is down from 9.2% to 4.8% in 24-25, and target is 4.4%. We know the fiscal deficit target is 4.4% for 25-26, and currently for 24-25 it is 4.8%. Fine. Public debt to GDP ratio, or you can say public debt to GDP. That means what amount of debt you are taking with respect to your GDP. That is 81.3% as of 2024. And it is projected that it might fall to 75.8% by the year 2030. This is according to the IMF. Fine. Acha, capital expenditure, if we talk about that, then central government capital expenditure from 1.7% has increased to 3.1%. And if capital expenditure is increasing, this is known as productive expenditure, which is very important for an economy, which is very important for the overall economic development of an economy. Okay? So you can see the central capex has increased. and इसके अंदर state grants have also increased 4.3%. And here we are talking about state grants. Grants for what? For creation of capital assets. So we are giving grants to the states also, so that they can put in that money for capital expenditure. ठीक है? Fine. If we talk about DBT savings or direct benefit transfer, then that is 40 million US dollar by March 2023. Digitalization of various government programs like public distribution scheme with Aadhaar as the backbone have also resulted in huge savings for the government. ठीक है? Savings in the sense कि पहले when we were not giving through direct benefit transfer, then a lot of money was being wasted also, because they were in intermediaries and also a lot of money was being wasted also. So because of direct benefit transfer, we are saving also a lot of money. Because of digitalization of many programs, money is being saved. A lot of money is being saved. तो उस savings की बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे. ठीक है? Then for infrastructure push, if we talk about the infrastructure sector, national highway networks have expanded 60% to 1,46,145 kilometers. ठीक है, so national highway framework is also extended. Airports have grown from 74 to 159. Railways, 136 Vande Bharat trains, 1337 stations under Amrit Bharat scheme. We have increased the number of railways or trains also. Metro from 248 kilometer to 1011 kilometer in 20 plus cities. Metro is operating. ठीक है? For the manufacturing sector and the export sector, the focus is on Atmanirbhar Bharat, on self-reliance. PLI scheme is for 14 sectors including mobile, solars, EVs. We have PLI scheme, production linked incentive scheme for the manufacturing sector. Mobile exports have seen a 10 times growth. Mobile exports, solar exports have seen a 20 times growth. ठीक है? If we talk about demographics of the country, demographic means population का क्या status है? What is the status of population of the country? The median age is 28 years right now, and 65% of the population is under the age of 35, which shows that we have a strong demographic dividend. Our working age population is good enough, and we need to harness the potential of this demographic dividend. Our labor force participation rate is 60.1% overall. Women का LFPR rose from 23.3% to 41.7%, which is a good thing. But here also there is a catch. We've seen in latest news and all that बेशक women's LFPR, labor force participation rate, is increasing, but that does not mean that their income is increasing. है ना? That does not mean their income is increasing or the amount of money that they are earning is increasing, because most of the times these women जिसका labor force participation rate have increased, they are in low paid or underpaid jobs, या फिर they have been involved in the agriculture sector only. है ना? That is why that doesn't mean that their earnings have increased. ये भी हमने देखा था, I think in one of the live analysis sessions we have discussed about this. There was an article related to this. So इस तरह से you have to connect the dots also. You are reading about LFPR over here. You are seeing over here that women's LFPR rose from 23.3 to 41.7%. You've seen this, but you have to also integrate it to what you are learning on a daily basis, to what you are reading on a daily basis in the newspaper and all. Ajay, you've seen that women's LFPR has increased, but are earnings also increasing or not? In what kind of sector are more women, going towards? Are they going into self-employed sectors, or are they going into low-paid jobs or high-paid jobs? What kind of jobs are they getting? And if they're getting that job, is there a wage gap or not? That is how you have to analyze many things also whenever you are reading. Okay? Unemployment rate is down to 3.2% from 6% if we compare it with 2017-18 levels. Okay? If we talk about innovation and startups, then India now has approximately 1.5 lakh recognized startups. Now, sir, this is also a very prudential topic which you might get in the exam, related to, say, startups, or related to innovation, or related to, you can say, you can say the manufacturing sector, innovation and all. है ना? इस type of question you can be asked in the exam, especially descriptive. तो वहाँ पे you can add such kind of a data. ठीक है? हाँ एग्जैक्टली अतिथि, मनरेगा में विमेन का पार्टिसिपेशन बढ़ रहा है. दैट मीन्स मनरेगा विच इज बेसिकली नॉट, विच इज नॉट एक्चुअली बीइंग वेरी प्रोडक्टिव, मनरेगा में उनका बढ़ रहा है. What is that showing? Their earnings are not increasing even though their LFPR has improved, right? ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे what I was saying is कि स्टार्टअप इंडिया इनिशिएटिव या स्टार्टअप से रिलेटेड, स्कीम से रिलेटेड कुछ क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं, so you have to remember this. So such kind of data you have to extract from these reports and utilize it in your answers. ठीक है, तो इसको कहीं पे लिख लिया करो, ऐसे भी कोई स्टेटमेंट आता है तो. ठीक है, India ranks third globally in unicorns. This data you can remember. Focus on AI, fintech, renewable energy. Focuses on these things. Then there is this Global Innovation Index. What is the rank here? We have improved our rank from 81 in 2015 to 39 in 2024. ठीक है आदित्य, तो you can remember such kind of a data. You can learn it right now only because this is kind of a static data which is going to continue for the entire year. ठीक है, so ऐसे when you write the data as of 2024 according to the Global Innovation Index, rank of India is 39. ठीक है, the Reserve Bank is also promoting digitalization, innovation. UPI, 18 billion transactions in a month are occurring through UPI. There is this regulatory sandbox of RBI, Unified Lending Interface, ULI. So through these, innovation is being promoted. ठीक है, then for ease of doing business and reforms, what are certain changes that are taking place? We have GST, we have the IBC insolvency and bankruptcy code, we have the public sector banks consolidation, we have corporate tax cuts which are happening. Right, so this is improving the ease of doing business. 1500 obsolete laws have been repealed, 180 provisions have been decriminalized. Right? And in this budget, reforms have been there in the taxation, power, urban, mining, financial and regulatory aspects. There's this new investment friendliness index for the states. Okay? So we have read about this investment friendliness index also, right? I'm giving you a homework here. Read about this investment friendliness index. Read about it and remember it. What are the parameters? What is it going to compare through the states? Yeah? Remember it. Then for digitalization, we have things like JAM, Trinity, UPI, GST, and we have ONDC, we have DigiLocker. Personal income tax refund processing time has been reduced from 93 days to less than 10 days in 2024. Within this 10 years of time frame, this tax refund processing time has been reduced immensely. Right? So basically, India's growth is supported by stable macroeconomic fundamentals, strong domestic demand, and a 90% of GDP, then transparent and rule-based policy ecosystem. So this was your first chapter under your May 2025 bulletin, India, a partner in progress and prosperity. So this was your first chapter, first important highlights of the chapter. ठीक है? Now, second is related to your green and sustainable finance. Next chapter is related to green and sustainable finance. We have also done a long answer question on green finance, and that amount of material was extracted from this report only, this May bulletin only. We had extracted the answer from there. ठीक है, तो green finance related I had given up a question. So if you're following the viewpoint 360 session, which I take up every Sunday at 9 p.m. So tomorrow also on Sunday you have a class at 9 p.m. Write an answer for those of you who want to write an answer. तो यहाँ पे हम descriptive writing answer देखते हैं. तो यहीं पे we had talked about this green and sustainable finance also. ठीक है. So what is green finance basically? It is any financial activity which is designed to promote environmental outcomes, better environmental outcomes. ठीक है? That means you can say for eco-friendly projects and all, for eco-friendly or environmental friendly projects and all के लिए when we raise finance, that is what is called green finance or that is what is called sustainable finance. ठीक है? That is what is called sustainable finance. अब यहाँ पे it consists of variety of loans, debt structures, investments that are used to promote growth of green initiatives or lessen the climate effect. ठीक है? So green financing is basically the main purpose is to internalize environmental aspects and lower the risk perceptions. ठीक है? तो यहीं पे there has been written what are the building blocks of green and sustainable finance. What are the building blocks? Now this was a question that I gave you, that identify the building blocks of green and sustainable finance in the viewpoint 360 session. ठीक है? So we discussed about these points. For example, firstly, the green and sustainable finance taxonomy, wherein we are going to build an ecosystem of green and sustainable finance. So it's not that only one part of the sector is going to do something and then huge amount of changes will happen. Everybody will need to collaborate, whether it's the government, whether it's the regulator, whether it's other policy makers, whether it's any financial institution, any borrowers or investors. So we need to build, first building block is that we need to collaborate with this entire ecosystem. We need to align each and every sector or part of the economy. Only then, if everybody together collaborates and moves in one direction, only then can we have a sustainable finance taxonomy or a green finance taxonomy. ठीक है? Then measures by the government and RBI have to be taken up. So measures like we have the sovereign green bonds framework of the RBI, which helps in bringing in a lot of money green in the that helps us bringing in a lot of money which can be utilized for the sustainable economy or the green economy. This is another building block. Thirdly, consistent and harmonized regulatory approach is required. So in order to meet this net zero target by 2070, so we want to achieve net zero emissions by 2070. There's a target that we made in 2021 in COP26. India made it. This was announced by India. So we need to fine tune our respective actions and measures. Each player, whether it's the government, whether it's a regulator, any policymaker, everybody will have to fine tune their respective actions and need to be consistent and follow a harmonized approach. Again, only then can we can build a green and sustainable finance. Assurance and verification function. So assessment of climate related financial risk is very important. It is very important that we need a clear and objective demonstration for end use of funds. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि we are generating funds दिखाने के लिए it is being used for climate friendly projects but असली में it is not being used. तो वो घपला नहीं होना चाहिए. There should be transparency. There should be checks and balances as to where is that money going. ठीक है? A consistent approach is required, in the entire financial system, and that would provide confidence to the investors. And when investors know, when they have a clarity ki acha where will their money be put to, when they have a clear cut transparent scenario that they know that kahan pe unka paisa jayega, then that will give confidence to the investor, and that will be another building block for green finance. Only then they'll be able to improve their credit, they'll be able to increase more of money for green purposes. Then we need to maintain transparency and disclosures also. Manage climate related financial risks, ensure transparency, support the long term financial stability. We need a coherent, we need coherence among various sectors. Disclosure should be there. For example, if a financial institution is to make any lending or investment decision, or assess its portfolio risk, it is mandated that all kind of disclosures need to be done so that the investor has the entire detail, and so only then they'll be able to put their money into green finance or sustainable finance, right? Okay. Then there's a collaboration which is required between climate and finance sectors. Finance alone will not help. Okay, we need to this understanding climate patterns and all, impact of climate change and all, it is a technical and skilled job. And if we completely depend on the financial sector expert, we'll not be able to actually these expertise of the financial sector will not suffice. We need to bring in collaboration between the climate sectors and the finance sectors, because finance sector may they have knowledge about finance, climate sector may they have knowledge about environment. If they collaborate, only then can money be utilized in the right direction. ठीक है? Risk assessment of climate related risks is also very important. Physical and transition risks, which can impact different financial instruments, that is also important. For example, we have this RBI climate risk information system, which should be utilized, right? Consistent approach means that if we have thought of doing something, we need to be consistent in that. ठीक है, we need to be consistent in that. ऐसा नहीं कि अभी एक वन टाइम के लिए पैसा डाल दिया, maybe let's talk about climate finance in that case. एक बारी में हमने पैसा डाल दिया और हो गया खत्म, ऐसा नहीं होता, right? You have to be consistent. So consistency is required everywhere. In your examination, consistency is required, right? So that kind of a consistent approach is required. Then managing climate change and credit risks. Climate change would lead to additional operational costs for the borrowers with an increased possibility of loss of their assets. So we need to manage, we need to, whatever probability of risk or whatever probability of borrowers is there, we need to manage that climate risk, we need to manage that credit kind of risk also. ठीक है? Then there are certain challenges which are identified for green and sustainable finance. So in the question that I gave you, there in one part of the question was what are the building blocks of green and sustainable finance and what are the challenges. So you can see here the entire answer was crafted from this May bulletin only. That is the importance of reading reports. That is the importance of reading the bulletins. And directly a question can be framed from here. ठीक है? Now, what are the challenges to green and sustainable finance? Why are we not able to, have green finance? Why are we not able to persuade people to, bring in finance and put it into green things or, environmental friendly projects and all? First important challenge is structural issues. So high upfront. So for any kind of environmental projects, there is high upfront capital expenditure requirement. So whatever project kind of, you are involved in any kind of sustainable project or any kind of green project, a lot of money, initial cost is quite high. Initial cost is high, very high. And there is high risk which is, involved, and because there's this evolving nature of climate related technologies. Okay? There are knowledge and information gaps. Because of these structural issues, because of these problems in the structure of the economy, that is the reason why you're not able to generate more and more of green finance. Then quantum of financing available is also very less. So given the huge requirement for funding of green transition, so when we want to transition from, say, we want to transition from a fossil fuel based economy to a green economy or a renewable energy economy or a clean energy economy, we need a lot of funds. And global funds are, lacking. That is one problem that we see in the Paris Agreement also. And the US, countries like US and all, they do not bring in enough money. They're not giving enough money. The developed countries are not giving enough money. So the transition requires a lot of money. And plus, we are a growing economy. We can't put a lot of our money into green finance only. We need to focus on developmental projects also. So basically, another challenge is mobilizing such amount of capital on a large scale. ठीक है? ठीक है? Fine. Commencement and gestation timelines means commencement मतलब when you're starting off with a project and gestation मतलब कितना time लगेगा उसे complete होने में, that kind of an issue we have कि कब start करें, कितना time लगेगा उसे fulfill करने के लिए. Gestation timeline is the entire time frame जब तक आपका start हो रहा है project till your end project. वो एक gap हमें नहीं मालूम कितना रहेगा, है ना, वो एक issue है. CBDR should be followed common but differentiated responsibility. हाँ जी. The lack of, ठीक है Aditya, I hope this is clear. I hope you've understood the meaning of this commencement and gestation timelines का. ठीक है? The lack of standardization. Seeing as there is no universal standard for what qualifies as a mode of green finance, it can be hard for investors and consumers to differentiate a company that is truly committed to incorporating green finance. Actually, there are companies, they suppose a company A and a company B. अब हो सकता है कि एक कंपनी दिखा तो रही है that they are putting in, you know, that they are putting in some money for clean and green energy projects only, but हो सकता है वो घपला कर रहे हैं, दिखाने के लिए वो किसी clean project में कर रहे हैं, लेकिन असली में वैसा है नहीं है. So how to identify, how to standardize that which company is actually putting in money, which is actually committed to incorporating green finance into environmental friendly projects, and which company is not. तो वो आइडेंटिफिकेशन इज डिफिकल्ट. व्हाट इफ यू आर जस्ट ग्रीन वॉशिंग. आप दिखा रहे हो कि हाँ आप ग्रीन ग्रीन या फिर एनवायरमेंट फ्रेंडली प्रोजेक्ट में पैसा डाल रहे हो, बट वो सिर्फ दिखाने के लिए है, जस्ट ऑन पेपर. ठीक है. देन ट्रांजिशन रिस्क, देयर इज दिस प्रॉब्लम ऑफ ट्रांजिशन रिस्क ऑल्सो. Seeking to switch to low carbon economy will require numerous industries to change their business practices. अब हमें अगर transition करना है तो there are going to be so many industries who will have to transition their entire business setup, the entire business practice, जो investor के portfolio को impact करी. For example, there is an oil company. अब सब लोगों को अगर ट्रांजिशन करना है टुवर्ड्स रीन्यूएबल एनर्जी, टुवर्ड्स क्लीन एनर्जी, तो इन कंपनीज का क्या होगा? जो इन्वेस्टर्स ने अपना पैसा इन कंपनीज में लगाया है उनका क्या होगा? there's going to be a change in the investor portfolios. there's going to be uncertainty in that case, and customers also may change their preference accordingly according to the technological advancements and all also, and that may not be in line with the needs of green finance. तो इससे इन्वेस्टर पोर्टफोलियोज को भी इम्पैक्ट करेगा, ग्रीन फाइनेंस को भी इम्पैक्ट करेगा. Right. So what is the way forward that has been mentioned in this chapter again? So when I gave you a question, firstly, building blocks were to be mentioned, challenges were to be mentioned of green and sustainable finance, and then way forward. So this entire answer you have over here. ठीक है? And यहाँ पे अब you can see this paragraph, ये हो गया conclusion. So आपको पूरा answer is there in this one chapter. So what is the way forward? Interoperability and emerging market developing economies. So हमें interoperability पे focus करना है. That means all the countries, the countries, especially the developed countries, they should know कि developing countries को पैसे की जरूरत है. They need the money, and that is why global cooperation की जरूरत है, policy support की जरूरत है, investment inflows की जरूरत है. Right? Then transition must be just and inclusive. So transition should be just and inclusive. It should not be that some section of the society is able to transition, the other section is not able to move towards that transition. And we need to consider disruptions, like there are going to be displacement of jobs. There's going to be land use pattern changes. There's going to be resource reallocation, and we need to consider these things as well to protect the people morally. Capacity building पे focus करना चाहिए. RBI conducting training for regulated entities is very important, like stress testing framework, physical risk assessment, governance frameworks, build technical competencies in green finance, risk management. ये सब करो. So basically, India occupies a very unique position in the global climate context, and as one of the world's fastest growing economies, there is this dual challenge. What is the dual challenge? Fostering as well as sustaining the economic development. एक तो हो गया sustaining economic development, while also addressing the climate change. अब climate change पे focus करें कि development पे focus करें? Development करेंगे तो climate change पे ध्यान नहीं दे पाएंगे, climate change पे ध्यान देंगे तो development में नहीं दे पाएंगे. So we have this dual challenge, and we need to maintain a balance in that. ठीक है? On one hand, it is highly vulnerable to climate risks, and on the other hand, it has the potential to lead the global green transition also. ठीक है? So these challenges must be addressed. Can CSR activity like sponsoring environment related NGO be termed as green finance? Yes, of course. See, there's this ambiguity in defining green finance, that what should we consider as green finance, what we should not consider as green finance. There is no particular definition to what is entitled as green finance, and that is why people are able to find in a lot of loopholes in this thing. That is why people do greenwashing. तभी तो लोग greenwashing कर पा रहे, because there is no set definition for green finance only. Randomly बोला है कि ऐसा फाइनेंस जो एनवायरमेंटल which is environmental friendly, and which is in some or the other way helping out in transitioning towards a green economy, or which is helping out in protecting the environment. तो ऐसे तो बहुत एक्टिविटीज को बोल सकते हो कि ग्रीन फाइनेंस है ना. सो देयर इज ऑलवेज अ लूप होल. यस, पीपल अपने ये CSR रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी में ही दिखाते हैं कि हाँ दे आर डूइंग अ लॉट फॉर ग्रीन फाइनेंस, तो उसमें ही वो उसे डिस्गाइज कर देते हैं. तो लीगल लूप होल्स भी काफी हैं. ओके आदित्य. Then we have the next chapter about state of the economy. स्टेट ऑफ द इकोनॉमी में इंडिया के जीडीपी ग्रोथ के बारे में बताया सबसे पहले. तो इंडिया जीडीपी ग्रू बाय 7.2% in Q4 of 24-25, which is showing a strong momentum after the pandemic. The full year growth is estimated at 6.8% above earlier expectations. ठीक है, तो यहाँ पे पहले 6.5% लिखा है, यहाँ पे 6.8% लिखा है. Such kind of data is fluctuating, so you have to remember जो consistent है. Mostly 6.5% data लिखा है, so you have to remember that. ठीक है. गुड इवनिंग सिंचन. ग्रीन फाइनेंस कम्स अंडर फाइनेंस ओनली, तो उसे अलग से कोई ऐसे रेगुलेटरी बॉडी नहीं है अलग से फॉर ग्रीन फाइनेंस. इट इज ऑपरेटेड अंडर द RBI's रेगुलेशन ओनली. ठीक है, दैट इज व्हाई द सॉवरेन ग्रीन बॉन्ड्स जो हम देखते हैं, सॉवरेन ग्रीन बॉन्ड्स, दैट इज अंडर द RBI फ्रेमवर्क ओनली. ठीक है, सो इट इज नॉट कंसिडर्ड एज सेपरेट फाइनेंस. ग्रीन फाइनेंस इज वन कैटेगरी ऑफ फाइनेंस which is regulated by the existing financial regulatory bodies only. Okay, Ditya. Acha, if we talk about sector-wise growth, then agriculture growth at 3.5%, boosted by normal monsoon, improved irrigation infrastructure. Industry expanded by 5.6%. Manufacturing is a key contributor. Services fastest growing sector at 8.4%. ठीक है. Average CPI inflation was 5.1% during the fiscal year, which is within RBI's target band. Food inflation moderated to 4.2%. Core inflation remained elevated at 6%. Now if you see this inflation scenario also on an everyday basis, we see changes. Monthly basis पे हम changes देखते हैं ना. So before your exam, you have to see the latest changes. ठीक है, latest update आपने देखनी है. Acha, if we talk about the employment scenario, unemployment rate dropped to 6.2% in March 2025 from 7.1% in the previous year. Informal sector employment showed signs of recovery, लेकिन फिर भी uncertain है. ठीक है, 2.82% है अभी. ओके अतिथि. External sector में merchandise exports rose to 12%. Imports increased by 10%. Current account deficit was 1.8% of GDP. Fiscal deficit contained at 5.7% of GDP. ठीक है. मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी, अब यहाँ पे मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी में लिखा है RBI kept the policy rate at 6.5%. अब ये नहीं देखना हमने, है ना, because we already seen the recent updates. तो इसको हटा दो. GDP growth forecast is 6.5% for 25-26. Risks include geopolitical tensions, volatile commodity prices, climate-related disruptions. ये तो हमें generally पता है. Indian economy is recovering strongly with 6.8% growth in 24-25. Services sector leads the growth. Inflation is under control. Employment is improving. Export growth is robust. RBI policy supports growth and with steady interest rate. So this is the entire outlook for the economy. ठीक है? Fine. Then there's another chapter related to economic activity and the bank notes. New approaches we can talk about over here. So bank notes remain a vital part of the Indian economy despite rising digital payments. So even if the digital payments are increasing, we are going to see in these next 2-3 slides, we are going to see that cash transactions are also a lot. Cash में जो लोग transactions कर रहे हैं वो भी बढ़ ही रही हैं. That is also improving. ठीक है. So bank notes का use is improving. It's increasing despite digital payments. ठीक है. So understanding this currency circulation will help us know about how the economic activity is performing in real time. That is the reason why understanding about the circulation of money is also very important. ठीक है. So if we talk about the currency in circulation, then the total currency in circulation reached 30 trillion rupees. Currency in circulation मतलब कितना पैसा circulate हो रहा है economy में. So by March 2025, currency in circulation reached 30 trillion rupees, growing at about 10% annually. So on an annual basis, 10% से grow हो रहा है. 2000 notes constitute roughly 50% of the total currency value. ठीक है. 500 notes make up about 30% of the currency value. If you see the currency demand and patterns, demand for currency rises during festivals and harvest seasons. ठीक है, that means consumption तब increase हो जाती है. Post pandemic usage bounced back strongly. So after pandemic usage, it bounced back strongly. That means people are trusting physical money more than digital payments, and that is, I guess, one major reason is because of a lot of digital frauds that are happening. है ना, डिजिटल फ्रॉड्स, और यू कैन से डिजिटल डिवाइड की बहुत एरियाज में नेटवर्क इशू काफी रहता है ना. So such kind of reason you can say. RBI is exploring innovative data sources to estimate economic trends, including currency circulation patterns. So RBI is bringing in certain data sources कि कैसे हम circulation patterns को identify करें. Analysis of banknote flow helps track informal economic activities. Very very important. ऐसा statement आप use कर सकते हैं. See, one problem that we see is that हमारे GDP calculation में we say that informal sector को हम अच्छे से नहीं काउंट कर सकते हैं. इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर की वजह से हमारा अंडर रिप्रेजेंटेड है जीडीपी. दो हमने एक और आर्टिकल देखा था कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. ऐसा इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर का हम जो फॉलो अप्रोच करते हैं वो आईएलओ की नहीं करते हैं. ये सब हमने यू ऑलरेडी सीन इट, है ना. इफ यू आर फॉलोइंग माय मिंट एनालिसिस यू वुड नो दिस. अब यहाँ पे आप ये लिख सकते हैं, हाउ कैन वी एनालाइज की इनफॉर्मल इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी कितनी हो रही है, इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर में हम कितनी एक्टिविटी चल रही है, थ्रू द बैंक नोट फ्लो ऑल्सो. ठीक है, कितने बैंक नोट्स फ्लो कर रहे हैं, इससे हम इनफॉर्मल इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज को भी ट्रैक कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. देन व्हाट वर द की फाइंडिंग्स कि कैश विड्रॉल्स काफी हुए हैं इन द रूरल एरियाज and that align with the crop harvest periods, which shows that cash का रोल बहुत ज्यादा है रूरल इकोनॉमीज में. urban cash demand correlates with informal sector and small business. तो जहाँ पे small businesses है, informal sector है, वहाँ पे cash is being used more. velocity of currency circulation. velocity of currency circulation का मतलब कि कितने जल्दी एक हाथ से पैसा दूसरे हाथ में जा रहा है. how fast money changes hands. इससे हमें क्या पता चलता है कि इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी कितनी फास्ट हो रही है. ठीक है, तो velocity of currency circulation has increased, which is showing that economic activity in the economy is increasing. ठीक है. इसके पॉलिसी इम्प्लीकेशंस क्या है कि अंडरस्टैंडिंग दिस करेंसी डायनामिक्स इट एड्स आरबीआई इन कैलिब्रेटिंग द लिक्विडिटी एंड मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी. ठीक है, तो मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी को कैलिब्रेट करने के लिए करेंसी डायनामिक्स को समझना बहुत जरूरी है. ओनली देन आरबीआई विल बी एबल टू ब्रिंग इन चेंजेस इन द मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी, इन द लिक्विडिटी, है ना. जितना ज्यादा कैश होगा इकोनॉमी, इसका मतलब कि लिक्विडिटी काफी ज्यादा है, तो अकॉर्डिंगली आरबीआई अपनी चेंजेस लेकर आएगा मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी में. ट्रैकिंग बैंक नोट्स कैन हेल्प आइडेंटिफाई अनरिकॉर्डेड इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज, व्हिच इज वन नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट वी सी इन जीडीपी कैलकुलेशन, की जो अनरिकॉर्डेड इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज है वो तो यू आर नॉट एबल टू इंक्लूड इन जीडीपी, लेकिन थ्रू दीज ट्रैकिंग ऑफ बैंक नोट्स दिस प्रॉब्लम कैन बी रिजॉल्व. ठीक है, तो अगर आपको जीडीपी से रिलेटेड ऐसा क्वेश्चन आता है तो यू कैन कोरिलेट विद दीज थिंग्स कि सच काइंड ऑफ अ सॉल्यूशन कैन बी यूज्ड फॉर सच प्रॉब्लम्स. कि इनफॉर्मल सेक्टर नहीं रिकॉर्ड कर पा रहे, कोई बात नहीं, बैंक नोट्स को रिकॉर्ड करो, ट्रैक करो बैंक नोट्स को. दिस इज आल्सो गोइंग टू हेल्प इन आइडेंटिफाइंग द अनरिकॉर्डेड इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटीज. ठीक है. So basically what can we conclude from here is cash still continues to be very important and very crucial despite focus on digital growth, despite the focus on digital payments. And 30 trillion rupees are in circulation as of now. 2000 and 5000 bank notes, they dominate the currency value as of now. 2000 notes ko we are withdrawing over a period of time, but still they're dominating the currency value. Currency demand patterns reflect seasonal and informal sector activities. RBI uses banknote data to capture informal economy trends, and that this kind of data can also be utilized for overall calculation of GDP and all also. ये आप इससे infer कर सकते हैं. Combining currency and digital data enhances economic monitoring. Insights support targeted monetary and financial inclusion policies. ठीक है. Then we have this another chapter related to digital footprints, decoding India's inbound tourism through internet searches. तो यहाँ पे हम inbound tourism की बात कर रहे हैं. I hope things are clear till here and I hope you guys are able to understand what we are doing. And कुछ भी है तो you can always ask me in the comment section. कोई भी doubt है तो keep asking me. Otherwise this is more of fact based things that जिसका meaning वगैरह समझना जरूरी है. कुछ data you can extract, कुछ मटेरियल यू कैन एक्सट्रैक्ट फॉर योर डिस्क्रिप्टिव राइटिंग पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, है ना. सो इनबाउंड टूरिज्म यानी कि जो टूरिस्ट आ रहे हैं, इट इज अ की इकोनॉमिक सेक्टर फॉर इंडिया. टूरिज्म सेक्टर इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट सेक्टर फॉर इंडिया. It contributes a lot to GDP, it contributes to employment, it contributes to foreign exchange, है ना. अब जो ट्रेडिशनल टूरिज्म था, जो ट्रेडिशनल टूरिज्म डेटा था पहले, that was delayed, that was incomplete. And because of digitization, because of digital footprints, अब हमें timely insights मिलते हैं कि what is the scenario of tourism in our country, what is the scenario of inbound tourism in our country. ठीक है. So use of internet search data is improving. There's a new way to estimate tourist interest and flow in a country using internet searches. Analysis of search volumes for keywords like India tourism, flights to India. अगर आप ये सब डिजिटल में आप देखेंगे, ट्रैक करेंगे ऑनलाइन, तो यू विल गेट लॉट ऑफ डेटा रिलेटेड टू दिस कि अच्छा इंडिया में टूरिज्म रिलेटेड स्टेटस क्या चल रहा है ना. हमें टाइम टू टाइम मिल सकता है डेटा. Search internet in India as a destination increased by 20% in 2024. Peak searches occur during October to February. तो हमने इसमें मेजरली सर्च देखा है कि अक्टूबर टू फरवरी के बीच में पीपल आर कमिंग इनटू इंडिया. तो ये टूरिस्ट सीजन मानते हैं अक्टूबर टू फरवरी. And what are the top most search destinations? Delhi, Goa, Rajasthan, Kerala, Mumbai. These are the most search destinations. ये हमें किससे पता चला? Because of digital footprints, because of people using more and more internet services. तो उसके थ्रू हमें पता चला कि अच्छा people are targeting अक्टूबर टू फरवरी में सीजन होता है. दिल्ली, गोवा, राजस्थान, केरला, मुंबई. These are the areas which are being targeted. And जो सर्च है वो है इंक्रीज हो गया by 20% in 2024. ठीक है. और सोर्स मार्केट कहाँ से लोग आ रहे हैं इन इंडिया? यूएस, यूके, यूएई, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, जर्मनी. यहाँ से दे कमिंग टू इंडिया. There's a growing interest from Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe markets also. People are coming from there also. And what is the advantage of these digital footprints? They provide near real-time data on tourism demand and preferences. They help tourism stakeholders plan marketing and infrastructure development. They help and assist policymakers in monitoring and boosting tourism recovery post-COVID. Because we know that COVID के time पे tourism sector was hit the most. And a revival in this tourism sector is very important. That is why we need to track certain changes. ताकि हम revive कर सकें अपने tourism sector को. ठीक है. Then there's another chapter related to impact of weather anomalies on vegetable prices in India. कि weather changes में जो वेदर चेंजेस होते हैं उससे वेजिटेबल प्राइसेस पे what is the impact. So weather anomalies like unseasonal rains, droughts, temperature shifts, they affect agricultural output, especially vegetables, because vegetables are very sensitive to weather changes. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे फाइंडिंग्स क्या है कि जो अनसीजनल रेनफॉल है, during the crop growth, it leads to 10 to 15% drop in vegetable yields. So if the rainfall is unseasonal, then yields are going to drop. टेम्परेचर अनोमलीज का मतलब है एक्सट्रीम वेदर जो इवेंट्स होते हैं, जैसे हीट वेव्स हो गया, कोल्ड स्पेल्स हो गया. These also lead, they also lead to reduction in yield by 8 to 12%. These lead to supply shocks which cause price spikes. ठीक है. And because of these weather conditions, wholesale vegetable prices rise by 15 to 25%. तो जो inflation that we see, the food inflation that we see, उस पे डायरेक्ट इम्पैक्ट पड़ता है बिकॉज ऑफ दीज वेदर अनोमलीज. ठीक है. रिटेल प्राइसेस ये लैग्ड इंक्रीज ऑफ अबाउट 12 to 20%. प्राइस वॉलेटिलिटी इंक्रीजेस ड्यूरिंग एक्सट्रीम वेदर मंथ्स. हाँ, this year monsoon also you can say came early monsoon we can see. Then there are regional variations also that we can see. Northern area में बहुत ज़्यादा प्राइस सेंसिटिविटी है because they depend mostly on the monsoon rains. सदर्न रीजन में फ्लक्चुएशंस लेस है, लेकिन वहां पे हीट वेव जैसी प्रॉब्लम बहुत रहती है बिकॉज इट इज मोर इट इज क्लोजर टुवर्ड्स द ट्रॉपिक एरिया दैट इज क्लोजर टुवर्ड्स द इक्वेटर, इसलिए वहां पे हीट वेव्स टाइप सिचुएशंस ज्यादा रहती है. एंड व्हाट आर द पॉलिसी इंप्लीकेशंस? अर्ली वेदर फोरकास्टिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. वी नीड टू फोकस ऑन अर्ली वेदर फोरकास्टिंग ताकि हम मिटिगेट कर सकें सच काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स को. Crop insurance is very important to protect the farmers, to protect the farmer losses and the price shocks. We need to improve cold storage and transport infrastructure in order to stabilize the supplies and prices. We need to incorporate weather data, better market, for better market predictions. We need good amount of weather data. We need to incorporate that. right? So this is all your May 2025 bulletin. I hope these things are clear. Just read it out, download this PDF. It is very important. You can do it from this Oliveboard app. Also, for those of you who are new here, you can connect with me on Telegram. Mannat Educator is my Telegram handle. कोई doubt आता है after this session, and for those who are not watching it live and watching it later on, कोई doubt आता है, you can connect with me on Telegram. Mannat Educator is my Telegram handle. ठीक है, I hope you guys have understood today's session. RBI Bulletin का था ये session. Important points हैं ये. What, just extract some important points from here which you can use in your answers, descriptive answers. Apart from that, if you're preparing for RBI Grade B, तो यहाँ पे we have this complete course for phase 1 and phase 2 जहाँ पे you will get ESI, FM, QRE, GA classes. You will have books, ESI, FM की classes, books होंगी. Monthly magazines will be available. Mock tests will be available. If you want, you can enroll now. And if you do not want to take up coaching, then there is this free preparation kit which we have launched, which Oliveboard has launched, which includes 10 PDF ebooks. So that will be available in the description box. यहाँ पे available होंगे. You can download it from here. यहाँ पे you will get complete guide, 100 plus economic and finance terms will be provided. RBI Grade B PYQs होंगे last 5 years के. Budget 25-26 के highlights. RBI Grade B 2024 Year 1 के notes भी होंगे. 60 plus model ESI and FM descriptive answers will also be available. QRE आपको के फॉर्मूला ई बुक मिलेगी. 20 मॉडल essays will be given for RBI Grade B. Top 500 general awareness MCQs will be provided. 120 plus management MCQs will be provided, and this is curated by RBI Grade B toppers and experts only. So this is free preparation kit, so you can avail this. The link will be there in the description box. ठीक है? Thank you so much everyone. That is all from my side. Now, if you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section and we can discuss about that. मैम टूरिज्म एंड वेजिटेबल प्राइसेस न्यूज की इन डेप्थ स्टडी करना चाहिए क्या फ्रॉम एग्जाम पर्सपेक्टिव? अनुष्का, इफ यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर नबार्ड, ठीक है, तो जो ये फूड प्राइसेस एंड ऑल वेजिटेबल प्राइसेस, देन दैट विल बी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इसकी इन डेप्थ स्टडी आप कर लीजिए. अदरवाइज यू कैन जस्ट ऊपर ऊपर से जितना यहाँ पे है, देन दैट इज इनफ. ठीक है, इफ यू ओनली प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर RBI. Aditya Singh, ma'am, any news when will notification come? No, not as of now. There is no updation as of now, Aditya, for the examination ki kab hoga. YouTube Bhakti, thank you so much. You have a good day. Jitna bacha hai, have a good evening. Anushka is saying, while studying, I cannot segregate what to study in depth and what not. Anushka, that will come over a period of time. In depth, आप बस ये सोचें कि आरबीआई के एग्जाम पे कुछ फाइनेंस से रिलेटेड है, कुछ इकोनॉमी से रिलेटेड है, ये ध्यान दीजिए. इकोनॉमी और अगर फाइनेंस से कुछ रिलेटेड है तो उसके लिए इन डेप्थ स्टडी इज वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. कुछ भी फाइनेंस या इकोनॉमी से रिलेटेड है, उसका इन डेप्थ स्टडी करना बहुत जरूरी है. जैसे धीरे धीरे आप पढ़ेंगे, यू विल बी एबल टू एनालाइज. अगर आप सेग्रीगेट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, दैट मीन्स यू हैव नॉट एनालाइज द प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस. अगर आपने प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चंस को एनालाइज किया होता, दैट व्हाट काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आर बीइंग आस्क्ड, then it would have been easy for you to identify what to study, what not to study in detail. No, IFSCA का एग्जाम की भी कोई अपडेट नहीं है, but soon its notification will also come. अनुष्का, ठीक है, तो आप PYQs को एनालाइज करें for a better understanding what to read in detail, what not to read in detail. ठीक है अनुष्का? Anything else? Anyone? Anything else? This is going to be all from my side, and Mannat Educator is my Telegram handle. Rest अगर कोई discussion है तो you can connect with me over there. You can DM me on Telegram. ठीक है? That is going to be all from my side. Thank you so much everyone for watching. I hope this session was helpful for you. Tomorrow also we are going to meet at 7 p.m. I think tomorrow timings I will confirm. 7 p.m. we are going to meet with this RBI Bulletin class. ठीक है? Of June 2025. Chalo. Let's end the session over here. Thank you so much. Have a good evening to all of you. Keep studying. All the best. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye.